Hi everybody, I'm back. It's been 2 weeks since I made a video, which I think is the longest since I started. I'm always eating something before I start talking to you, and then I'm like, um, wow. So much has happened in the last couple weeks. Great things, crazy things, sad things. I'm really motivated to tell you about the things that have happened most recently, but if I don't get to the older stuff first, it's gonna be a disaster because it's really important and I'll forget the details. Here is my shirt. Coachella 2012, which was an awesome time, and I'd love to tell you all about it when we have coffee someday, you and I, dear viewer. So I wanna, so much to tell you. Gosh, I wanna wrap up the festival I was at in North Carolina, and there's a lot to say. So I left off on Saturday afternoon. I left you, the viewer, off on Saturday afternoon, and I hadn't quite felt like the difference of being out to my community until I started hearing the male pronouns again, and it really, like, from that point on, was not right for me anymore. It was really uncomfortable from then on. So I went through the day a little more sensitive to pronouns, and I was doing all right with it. But then, as you can tell by what I'm sure I will title this video, I had my first ever acid trip, which shocks most of my friends because, like, parties are my job, and I go to Burning Man and all that shit. But I mean, I've done some things, but I hadn't done acid, and I don't see what the big deal is about. I mean, I only did a tab, like one hit of acid, but the only remarkable thing about it was that it was long, but it wasn't like crazy high and like seeing stuff. I guess you gotta step it up for that. But I had a lot of fun. And I was real giggly at first, which I think is common, and I had a lot of fun running around with my friends. But it was a very long experience, and a lot of the middle of it, I went to kind of a dark place. And that's what I'm going to tell you about. So, as I was on my way to the tent to get it, I think is when people were out in front of my tent, pouring out a 40 for their lost loved ones, and my friend, I think, asked what they, or maybe I asked what they were doing, and they told me, and they handed me the 40, and it's melodramatic in retrospect, but I poured out and I said my name. I said Alex. So that's a thing. Anyway, so acid trip. So basically what set me off, the other thing about this conversation is there's a lot I can't tell you. In the next few videos, there's a lot I can't tell you because I don't want to air other people's business. So there's other aspects to this that we're not going to get to. And but the main thing that set me off down a bummer path was somebody came up to me and my friend in front of the sound system and was like very enthusiastically and positively saying, we should take over the sound system and set aside time for the guys of this camp to booty dance like the girls had done earlier. And I just turned around and walked away and let my friend clean up my mess rather immaturely. And I apologized to her later because she didn't know. That was already after I'd been out, and I assumed it would just spread like wildfire. But I apologized to her later that it wasn't a very mature way to handle that. So anyway, so I just walked off and didn't come back for hours, and I walked into the woods. The first thing I did was I walked straight to this trans girlfriend from Philly that I have. There were a lot of trans people at the festival, which I think I mentioned before, which is a great environment where it's just like, not a big deal. But I walked straight to her and was crying to her. It was actually really interesting because, I have privilege, formerly male privilege, but a lot of different things. And like, there's a lot of experiences that, you know, I think all people want to feel compassion for anyone's struggle, but I didn't learn so keenly until that moment that like sometimes the people who aren't going through it need to not be around. And so I was at my friend's camp, and somebody was trying to like talk to me alongside her, and I was pretty weepy at the time, and I was like, you know, I hate to say this to you because I know you mean well, but you just don't know. You just don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what this means, and you need to buzz off. And he wouldn't. So my friend and I walked off into the woods farther and ended up on this golf cart that was all decorated with plastic, like, spacey flowers. It was really cool. And I was crying and talking to her about basically under the duress of acid. I once that girl said that to me, and it wasn't the first time that night, it wasn't the first time on the acid trip, but once the girl dropped the male pronouns on me, I felt like such a faker and a liar, and it was so awful. I felt like I was just lying to everybody to get attention, and it was such a scary feeling, and I just felt like nothing. You know, I felt like not attached to any personality or anything. I was just like a lying shell, you know. And I think, you know, I want to flip that in a positive way. I mean, we moved on from that in the conversation, but I think it was enlightening something. I mean, these are all fears I had, you know, without the drugs, certainly, but I think it enlightened something positive too, which was like I don't want to put on airs. I mean, I've always thought this consciously, but I don't want to put on airs, you know, to be a girl. Like, I just want to be who I am, right? And I worry sometimes that I lean into cliches a little bit. I mean, as much as like you know, masculine demeanored transdyke can lean into feminine you know, modes of being, anyway, the point is, I don't want to do that. I don't want to rely on those kinds of things. I want to be true to myself. And then it's like, what is a self and what is myself? But I think that moment was like a stripping away of any kind of attachment to playing female, and that like my true state of being is going to be nothingness in a way. It's going to be not, I mean, I've addressed this before, but it's not feeling discomfort. It's not feeling discomfort over being perceived male, and it's not the discomfort of putting effort into being male or female. Right on. So she comforted me, and we were joking around, and you know, she was saying, "Oh, we're just internet trannies," and you know, we were just commiserating. And then we flipped that fun, like our next festival will be like Camp Internet Trannies. I don't know, probably won't, but it's a fun idea, and we could really be in people's faces. I don't know, it's all good. So we talked about me being faker. We talked about passing. I rely on my friend Forrest's phraseology a lot these days, and I did at that moment where it's like, you know, I may look ambiguous, or more in my, you know, in my situation, like I may present an ambiguous conundrum for people, but I don't feel ambiguous. You know what I'm saying? And much respect to like people who are genderqueer and gender fluid, but for me, I don't feel very conflicted about the whole thing. I just feel stuck, you know. So, you know, and I moaned about why is this happening to me, and There's more on that later. This is gonna be a long video. Sorry. So, she opened up to me as well. Like, you know, I talked to her about her comfort with how she's perceived, and you know, she pushes people's buttons and she puts up walls, and it was great to get to talk that out with her, and have her open up to me, and we bonded and we're buddies. So, then I kind of went back to Civilization, and I had a lot more fun, and it was great because the trip lasted a long time. And then a while later, my buddy, my acquaintance and friend Easy, took me on a walk out into the woods, and it was funny. At first, he was trying to leave me with someone else, and I was like, I had talked to that person, and I was like, I need some Easy. So we walked out to another part of the woods, and where he was camped, and I had a long talk, and I was really, really touched by how much he had thought about my situation, and professionally too. He's a DJ, so he was thinking about how that's going to be for me, and of course I think about it a lot. And I just thought a lot of touching things about me and my life, and how I could approach things, and I got to explain my situation more to him and his friends, and that was really important for me as well. To you know, elaborate, to just clarify it for myself, to talk through things, and to talk through things with them, and get the word out about how I feel about things. And it was really super positive and kind of surreal because I was tripping. It was in the woods. So, alrighty. Then I kind of came back and had more fun, and my son was coming up. There's another subplot, like I said, that I can't really talk about, and I wish I could. And then the sun came up, and we're having a lot of fun, and I'm just sorry for the delays. I'm just trying to think of what I can tell you and what I can't. But I danced some more. The sunrise set was really fun and silly, and you know, my friend who was doing it usually plays like real crunky electronic music, but with all like silly songs from musicals and stuff. And but I ended up with another friend. There was this pirate ship car that was parked there, and I ended up on top of that car with a friend of mine minding me. And then I was pretty much like done with the tripping of the acid, although like my energy and staying awake lasted for many more hours. But I was up on this pirate ship, and you know, I just ended up just like screaming and weeping, just weeping and howling to the sky. You know, it was an expression of anger. Like I hadn't, you know, every time I think I'm through something, I'm not really, and I hadn't quite expressed the anger aspect, of just like mad at the universe for putting me in this position, and it was so good to get it out. But I was just like Greek theater style, just wailing at the sky, and just profoundly weeping. But it was really great, and it was, you know, it was very cathartic, and I'm really glad that my friend was there for me. And then I proceeded to have a lot more fun. They played the You Never Can Tell, the twist song from Pulp Fiction, and so we had a twist contest, and I won the contest. And yeah, as I jumped up on the subs, it was like the makeshift stage, the subwoofers, and was handed a prize of a Bloody Mary and a pickle. My friend started playing Bohemian Rhapsody, and I lip synced the whole thing into the pickle, like real dramatic. It was really fun. There were other beautiful moments that morning. I got to connect with some New York people, and kind of explain to them more about where I'm at. And I have a you know, underground culture New York friend who's also from Houston. I grew up all over, but a bulk of my childhood was in Houston, and I don't know. I guess we sort of seem to connect over that because I can't go into everything, but it was about money. Money is another big current that's going on with me right now. It's probably better if I just save that for the next video. I might just record a second video right now, but I want to, finish off the festival. So, that's pretty much it. There's another situation. There was this. I don't know. I shouldn't talk about it. I really wish I could document it. Urgh. But all I want is a good life, and I think I can have it. And that's it. Lots of people still at that point didn't know about me, or they'd heard something. I think a lot of people knew, but they were really polite about it. They're like, they'd say, I'd be in their face and try to tell them what I'm doing. They're like, oh, we heard something, but we didn't want to assume or whatever. Urgh. Gosh, there's so much to tell you. Let me just check my notes real quick. And I got my hair caught in the zipper of the tent. That was not fun. I tried to use being out as an opportunity to work on my voice, which I didn't stick to very much. But it was a good environment and exercise to do that. And the worst part. So then the day it was over, I came back to Civilization, and I doubted taking my injection for the first time. Because of the doubt from the acid freak out. But yeah, there's more to say about that. I'll collect my thoughts. Alright, that's it. I'm sorry if that was a little scattered. I just had to piece it back together before it was out of my memory. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Probably in a few minutes when I change my shirt and make another video. Okay, bye. Alright, sue me, but I'm adding a little bit more. But the injection doubts, it was the acid insecurity, but also I had gone through so many thresholds that I explained in a previous video, but I have sort of a safety reflex of like defaulting to what feels, safe, defaulting to like putting on the boy show, and so I just got real gun shy about taking the shot because I'd been through so much, and I had time to recoup from all the thresholds that I'd passed through. Spoiler alert, I'm so over it. I'm so over that doubt. I'm so over doubt in general, but I have to get to that later. And then the other reason I had an addendum to this video is that at my camp called PLF, the Party Liberation Front, with whom I camped at this festival, they're from Virginia, by the way, somebody had left this for me at the bar, I think on Friday morning, when I was exhausted from traveling and just kind of cranky. I think it was then that when I went out in the morning, somebody had left this on the bar, and I thought I knew who did it, and I was wrong, or else she was lying to me. And I don't know who. I want to figure out the mystery. But it's cool, and it's cool to look at, and I'd like to show you. Oh. Alright. So much more to say. Say it in some future time. Goodbye.